Hello?
Hi, this is Paul Carlton of Entertainment Weekly. I was hoping to speak to one of the stars of What's Next.
That's fantastic. I'm glad you called.
Is this Mark Middleton?
Well, no, actually, he's not here, but this is...
Darn. Well, we were hoping to talk to Mark. How about Laura Savini? Is she available?
No, but you know what? Guess who you got a hold of now?
Man.
It's,
Could you hang on just 1 second? Hey, Mark and Laura aren't around. What about that other guy? Phil or Bill something?
It's Bill.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
The guy. His name is Bill Schaefer.
Oh, fantastic. Do you think you could have Bill call us back?
Oh, yes, definitely. He would love to talk to the people at...
Great. If you could have him call us back, we're hoping he could help us get an interview with Mark or Laura. Hello?
Sure. I'll have him call you.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Growing older, what's next?
With Mark and Bill and Laura.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mark Middleton, and welcome back to What's Next. I'm Mark. That's Bill. This is Laura. How you guys doing this morning?
Love a good laugh Friday morning with you two.
And it's going to be a great program, too, Mark, because we're bringing a little bit of style to Facebook Live.
Yeah, you know what? I am really excited about this show, and I think you guys are going to enjoy it, folks. And let's show you what's coming up, if we can. You know, we're going to talk with advanced style and global guru of senior sartorial savvy, the one and only Seth Cohen. And we're not going to stop there, because we also have Judith Boyd, a.k.a. the Style Crone. She is one of the world's top senior models. She's an Instagram star. She's a fashion influencer and crusader against ageism. We're going to get some mask makeup tips from Laura Savini and some of her fashion friends, and Bill Schaefer is going to help all of you find and celebrate your tribe. But of course, we always start with a video that has inspired and amused all of us. So let's set this up by making sure you folks understand who Shaun White is. Shaun is a 3-time Olympic gold medalist in snowboard, a record for the most gold medals in snowboard. He's a 10-time X Game champion. He is the Michael Jordan of snowboarding. And when he was leaving his neighborhood recently, there were some young kids who kind of pulled him over and held up a sign. And if we look closely, the sign says, "Will you skate our ramp, please?" So Shaun, with his mask on, pulled over and said, when you get a request like that, you can't resist it. So he got out. He got his board, or borrowed a board from one of the kids, and they started to skate. And guys, what a nice, generous gesture this was.
You know, in these times when our interactions are so limited, this is just beautiful that he would give this moment to these kids.
And how cool is that? Do you guys remember your first brush with a celebrity? I mean, I think that gets etched in your head forever. And can you imagine when it's somebody as cool as Shaun White doing the exact things that you're doing? Setting a ramp up in your street and helping you. That's like Babe Ruth picking up a ball bat and playing catch with you.
You're right. It's like shooting hoops, and all of a sudden Michael Jordan shows up. And you know what? Once Shaun parked, there were just a few kids at the beginning, and then every kid in the neighborhood. And talk about a memento. You know, they'll always know when this was taken during the pandemic, as Shaun White pulled over and gave them some of his time. What a great gesture.
Yeah, I may be wrong about this too, but didn't Shaun White, wasn't he discovered by Tony Hawk almost the same way? When he was a kid, he met Tony Hawk, and it inspired Shaun to want to be the flying tomato, or to be the guy in skateboarding and snowboarding. And Tony was the guy who helped him become that.
It's the power of influence. It's how we've built a business. It's how Seth Cohen is making a difference in the world. So let's talk about fashion, because, we've always had this strong interest in fashion. A better term for senior fashion, I think, is advanced style, and we'll tell you why in just a second. But we love fashion because it encourages you to be you. And that's always been one of our mantras. You do you without apology. Celebrate who you are, whatever that means. We don't really think there's anything such as age-appropriate behavior. And we know that message resonates. And here's a great example. Anytime we post something like this is a meme from the 96-year-old model Iris Apfel. And her quote is, "What's wrong with being 72 or 82 or 92? If God is good enough to give you those years, you should flaunt them." A great message, but here's why we're showing this. Within 48 hours of us posting this on Facebook, it reached 7 million people. It was shared 400,000 times. It generated almost 50,000 comments, and it was liked over 500,000 times. So this is a message delivered in this way by someone being themselves, which really, really resonates, which is kind of exciting. And all of that, folks, brings us to Ari Seth Cohen. We've just loved what he's done for a while. And the short on the Ari story is that this is a young man who moved to New York City, didn't own a camera, but when he walked the streets, he noticed all of these senior women who were dressed to the nines, impeccable style, outrageous style, interesting style. So he borrowed a camera, started to take photographs, built a blog that he named Advanced Style, and one thing led to another, and today he is truly one of the world's most powerful fashion voices. This is Ari Seth, which is how he looked not long ago. You're going to see how he looks today in just a moment, because he's growing a pandemic beard like most of us. Very interesting guy, and we're thrilled to welcome him. In fact, we've had him on the cover of Growing Bolder magazine twice, once with Mimi Waddell, who is one of his fashion muses, and also a photo that he took of a couple of other very interesting advanced style models. So let's bring in Ari Seth from his home in Los Angeles. Ari, how you doing this morning?
Hi, everyone. How are you? I'm good.
You're looking good. How's life in LA during the pandemic?
It's good. I'm just grateful for everything that I have, and been trying to spend my time trying to be creative and encourage people to feel good, but also, helping when you can. We all have to help each other, and especially the older people in our lives. So been really keeping in touch with my community and seeing what they need, and calling all the older people in my life and making sure everyone's doing okay. And there's so much going on in the world right now, so I feel grateful just for what I have, and just kind of trying to create positivity where I can. I almost stopped posting, actually. I asked my community of people if it wasn't appropriate to keep showing my photos during the pandemic. And I got this resounding response from so many people that they needed to see positive imagery right now, especially about older women and men.
I've gone back and forth on that too, Ari, on my own Facebook page. Do we say positive things when all this bad is going on? But I think you're right. I think we need to hear those positive messages and remember that there is joy and happy out there.
Yeah, I think it's a balance of accepting the fact that we don't always have the best days. But I think reaching out to people and making sure that they're okay has been very gratifying for me, especially making sure people within our own communities are doing okay, because you never know how this is affecting someone else. It could be a financial effect, it could be an emotional effect, and physical, so many things. So, we're all hanging in there.
So, all right, let's get back to what you do for a minute, because I can't get this out of my head. You don't even have a camera, but you're in New York, right? And you're noticing all these people bustling down the street. And I cannot help but, of course, think of my youth. Growing up, I call it the Aunt B syndrome, where when I was growing up, every woman over 50, everyone, they'd have their hair up, they'd wear a muumuu and the black orthopedic shoes, and that was that.
Okay, where did you grow up?
But Ari, in this short amount of time,
Mayberry.
Nobody. But in this short amount of time now, nobody looks like Aunt B anymore. No matter what age they are, everybody's vibrant. Everybody's rocking the hair and the clothes. So this is an incredible time for you to be doing what you're doing.
Thanks. Well, maybe I think Aunt B, who I'm not sure who that is, might be being reclaimed by me during pandemic. I've been buying a bunch of muumuus and caftans. Well, I started this project 12 years ago, Advanced Style, because my grandmother had passed away, and my grandmother was my best friend and the person that encouraged me to be creative and to embrace style and be who I was. And when she passed away, in 2008, I moved to New York City. She always told me that someday I should live there. And I started to notice all these incredibly dressed, vibrant, and vital women in their 70s, 80s, 90s, and 100s. And I knew that the world needed to see this because a lot of my friends who were just turning 30 were already fretting about their first gray hair. There was so much ageist propaganda in the media. You know, there was nothing about embracing who you are at an older age. And I didn't see a lot of positive imagery around it. And so I decided that I would borrow my roommate's camera and start photographing and interview these women on the street. And for me, it started out as a way to deal with a great loss, the loss of my grandmother. But then I knew it had a wider purpose to really inspire people that your style, your fashion, your creativity, your life, your curiosity, so many of those things don't end when you turn 80 and 90. A good friend of ours, Ilona Roy-Smithkin, she was in my documentary film, is just turned 100. And she just wrote a whole book about aging called 99 Straight Up No Chaser. Everyone should look it up. It's by Ilona Roy-Smithkin. And she's still so vibrant at 100 years old.
You know, Ari, two things. A, I love the robe, the smoking jacket, whatever it is. I need that. And secondly, what I've always liked about you, you know, even more than the fashion stuff that you do, is you're very much, you know, aligned with Growing Bolder. I get the sense from you that what you do is more than fashion. You know, it's about life in general. It's about being you, and fashion is really just the representation. Is that accurate?
Yeah, and because it's not about encouraging people to buy, it's about encouraging people to be who they are. And I've always felt that clothing and style and playing dress up ever since I was a kid, if you continue that as you get older, it can bring so much joy. But for me, my photos have really been about the spirit of the women that I photograph, the attitude of the women, and the lifestyle. And the clothes are kind of a symbol of that effort that they put into their everyday lives. But I've started other projects about love. My latest book is called Advanced Love, and it's all about long-lasting relationships between older couples. And I started a project about advanced pets and how you know, the relationship between older people and their pets. So really, it's about living life to the fullest as you get older, and hopefully inspiring people to start doing that when they're young, and also to create intergenerational conversations between people, because so many younger people see the photos that I post on Instagram and Facebook and on my blog and say, I can't wait to be that. And then the women reply, like, just be that now.
You know, that is amazing. And, you know, we're going to put something up, folks, before we're done, where you can find out all about Ari. And really, it's a lifestyle brand that he's building. But, you know, let's bring someone else into the conversation. But first, let's show a photo of Ari and Judith Boyd, who is one of his good friends. Here, the two of them are posing.
Muse.
His muse. Judith is a very interesting woman. She's now 77 years old. She is happy for us to tell you that. She is truly an Instagram star, one of the world's top senior models, very bright, very energetic. And like Ari, she's making far more than just a fashion statement. So let's bring in Judith, AKA the style crone from her home in Denver. Hey, Judith, how are you?
I'm great this morning. Thank you so much for having me.
No, we're thrilled to have you. And just as a way of getting started, this is straight off of Judith's blog, her blog called The Fashion Crone. And it says, welcome to the Style Crone. Welcome to the Style Crone, dedicated to the older woman in her most creative, outrageous, authentic, powerful, adventurous, funny, and proud era. Let's take back the word crone to its original meaning, signifying a woman of a certain age who embodies all of her life's wisdom, knowledge, experience, and love. And I love that you are taking back a word that has become pejorative and making it something that it was originally designed to be, and that is an emblem of power.
Absolutely. You described it perfectly. And there really weren't any positive terms to describe older women when I began blogging 10 years ago. I have always loved the word crone, and so I decided to embrace it and turn it on its head and own it. And that's what I've done since the beginning of Style Crone.
Judith, did you always have this flair for fashion and color, or is it something you developed later on?
Well, as a career, I was a master's level psychiatric nurse, and I used to dress up when I would go to work, and I've always loved putting together outfits. I have a fascination of vintage. and I would wear hats to work, and sometimes management didn't appreciate that. But, my patients loved it, and I felt like it was an expression of myself and a meditation to put together my outfits before I went to work in the morning. So it's always been with me, I think, since I was in my 30s, but it's escalated since I started Style Clone. And I have been so inspired by all the women that are, and men that Ari features, and all the other older women that I follow. So I have a passion for fashion or style. So.
It's so cool, Judith, because I think more than what you're wearing, it's almost like what's inside you is allowed to come out, which is what makes it so cool. And I wanted to ask you this. Do you think there are two kinds of people who really want to stand out and people who don't? Or do you think we all have a Judith inside us and we're just a little afraid to show?
I think everyone is different, and I think it's fine that someone isn't interested in style. Maybe perhaps someone likes to garden or paint or do other activities that give them energy and that they feel passionate about, and I think that's fine. But for me, the way that I express myself is through style, and I appreciate however someone wants to express themselves, because as you say, it's from the inside out. So I don't feel judgmental of however someone wants to appear and how we want to express ourselves. I feel that it's important to embrace and not judge. It's not good for our skin and hair.
And I found out that like a lot of the women that I photograph, they don't dress to be seen by others. They really dress for themselves. Right. And they've been doing this since they were really young. And I've been doing that since I was really young. I don't even really love the exterior attention unless it's positive and inspires someone else to feel good about themselves. Because, you know, it really is an act of creativity that is lifting our spirits. Style can be really healing. What I loved about Judith's project, because she started a little bit after mine, was her project had a deeper meaning than just being about her. It was about how she worked with her husband who had was going through chemo, and she would dress up at the chemo sessions and he would take photos of her. And so they really used this creative collaboration as a way to heal. Mm-hmm. And I always really am gravitated to women like Judith who use their platforms to talk about things like this, to talk about mortality, but mix it in with style and joy and so many other things. And, you know, she does yoga every day. And we always talk about like wearing vintage clothing and recycled fashion and being sustainable. So she's like, for me, like an icon and a muse, not only because of what she's wearing, but the things that she believes in and talks about on her website.
You know, that's fabulous. And she doesn't dress to be seen, but Judith, let's let some people see you. We've got some photos of you that we're showing with your permission. And, you know, I love anybody that does them. And some of the people that Ari features are outrageously out there with some very bizarre stuff, which I love. But you do stuff that seems to be very approachable. It's tailored. It's interesting. It's elegant. I mean, how do you describe your style?
I describe my style as eclectic, and I am across the continuum. I love to experiment. I love vintage clothing, and I always incorporate it into my outfit almost every time that I put something together. And I have fun with it. It gives me energy, and I feel that it's so important to share the joy and passion that I feel for my art.
So tell us what is behind you right now, because I've been intrigued by that from the beginning. I know you're in your home. Is this a special room?
Yes, this is the scarf room, and it's also the guest room, so it's multifunctional. But I've been collecting since the 70s, and I went to estate sales. And so these are scarves, mostly vintage, that I found at estate sales. Most of them are silk. And this way, I don't have to worry about how many scarves I have, but just that I want to display them. And I see them as an art installation. And every time I walk into this room, it gives me joy because it's colorful. It is my history. And if I want to put together an outfit and I'm looking for a certain color, all I have to do is take a piece that I'm going to wear and then just scan my collection and come up with something that then I can express.
Beautiful. Now, this is a kind, timid, thoughtful lady who would never get into trouble, would she?
Oh,
We've got a photo that proves otherwise. She has an arrest record, folks. We've got to be honest with you. Here she is, handcuffed, about to be taken away to the pokey or in the pokey. Judith, what was this about?
In January, I became very concerned about the environment, the fires in Australia, and everything that I read pointed to I can't not take action. And so I became part of an organization that was practicing. Well, we were protesting against what was happening in Colorado around the climate. And so I was really proud to be a part of that and to put my actions where my values were. So it was a new experience, and it's something that I think was important to do, and I'm proud of it.
And we're proud of you for it. Ari, tell us something about Judith we don't know.
Well, she has a alternate personality that we call Judith Louise, and every Friday we have a dance party together. And actually, next week we are doing one with a bunch of the ladies I photographed to reconnect and have a reunion together, because although so many people are suffering, we want to try to keep the community together and have a little bit of joy in between the sad moments. So Judith Boyd, the Style Crone, is an incredible dancer.
Oh, well, we hope to be invited, to the dance party one of these days. We have a photo of Judith that I want to use as a transition into Laura. And Laura, take it from here. But Mikey, put up the photo of Judith with what she calls the new fashion accessory.
That is stunning, Judith. I love the way you own the mask. And that's a little bit about what I wanted to talk about today, because masks, I think they're here to stay. I think that we are going to be wearing masks. So why don't we embrace it and be the way Americans are, where we figure out how to make it our style and make it our own. And people are doing that. I actually heard about this woman in Southern California who was making these bespoke masks. She was recycling ribbons from Chanel and from other designers and using them to make these masks and using found fabric. So I love this, and making these very, very high-end, gorgeous masks. Her name is Ricky Clampert, and she says masks are the new handbag. They are the accessory now for us. And she's saying, really find yourself. Don't make the mask a hassle. The mask is a way for you to find your distinctive self. She's suggesting the cotton is a little bit better for you because it's more breathable and washable. But her whole thing is be engaged, have fun, and age will never define you. And I have a couple examples of that. She is the true, look at this. This is Ricky in the 60s. She is a true 60s child, California, did it all, dancer, artist, creator. And then this is Ricky today. She is 72 years old. She is drop dead gorgeous and is making these beautiful masks. Now, she made one with a Paris fabric. Now, you guys are going to love this story. Show us her wearing the Paris mask, if you will. She went to the senior shopping in her mask. They proofed her twice. They didn't believe she was actually a senior when she went shopping. And it's just all about her having fun with fashion and masks. And the other thing she was saying is that she really loves the idea of making it an American thing now, making it our style. So she's using bandanas and creating these gorgeous, look, that's an Yves Saint Laurent ribbon on her bandana mask. And I just think it's wonderful that she's using her creativity and her artistry to help us make this easier to incorporate into our life. And so that is the wonderful Ricky, who will make a couple of, she has limited capacity of making these bespoke masks, but I think you will find that they are just fabulous. Now, if we're going to be wearing masks, we have to do a couple of things, everyone. We've got to take care of our skin and be careful. So one of the things we have to do is make sure you're wearing a good moisturizer, because where the mask touches your face, you want to make sure you're not getting irritated. SPF, well, that's just, everybody has to do that. You need to be wearing an SPF, but here's why you need to do it now more than ever, because you don't want a mask tan line, right? You don't want a farmer's mask tan. So make sure you're wearing that SPF all over. Lip balm instead of lipstick, and men, lip balm is a good idea for you too. There's a lot of breathing going on behind that mask, and you want to make sure that your lips aren't drying out. And ladies, you know, you don't have to wear a lot of makeup now when you're wearing the mask. Try a tinted moisturizer. It's not going to mess up your mask, and it just makes things a little bit more comfortable for you. But now, here's the other thing. I know there's a lot of talk about men and masks. You know, we're doing it. We're wearing the masks, and men all around the country are wearing masks. And there's just a couple of little pointers for that. Again, make sure you're wearing your sunscreen. Clean your face at the end of the day. And guys, we're looking at your eyebrows a little more closely now. So make sure you're taking care of your eyebrows. I'm just showing a couple of men from around the country. Look at that wonderful camouflage mask there on that veteran. Tab Hauser, a photographer, he's wearing a black mask, which is, I think, always looks really sharp on a man. And then just using it, here's a DJ in New York. He's been on the air for many years, Jimmy Fink. It's just part of his daily wear. He's wearing it with his sunglasses and his cap. So, but now we're starting to get out a little bit more. We're starting to leave the house a little bit more. And we're saying, okay, if we're going to go eat in an outdoor cafe, we want to really blow it out. And we, ladies, you want to look good, right? You want to put on your makeup. Well, what do? How do you look good in a mask and wear your makeup? Well, I say, go over the top. Do a little more than you've done in the past. Think 80s. Think about wearing the bright colors, but now you got to balance it. If you're going to wear a wonderful green eyeliner or sparkly glitter, you're not going to wear a lipstick, obviously, because half your face is covered, but you want to balance it and wear neutral eyeshadows if you're going to go big on the eyeliner. And if you're going to wear a lot on your eyes, you've got to keep those eyebrows accented as well. I have a couple of photos. This is an incredible makeup artist, 8-time Emmy Award winner, Amani Makdad, and she's showing us there how to do that, how you show off your eyebrows, because again, half your face is covered. So now instead of about your lips and your nose and your cheeks, it's about your eyes, your eyelashes, your eyebrows. And you can see how wonderfully she has done that cat eyeliner. Now here's when you go all out and play with it. Have fun. Pull out that green eyeliner that's been sitting in your drawer, or the blue eyeshadow again. Put on some fake eyelashes and just really, really get into it and have fun. If you're going out, this is about style. There she is with really accented green eyeshadow, and I think it's fantastic. She is joining us. She becomes 50 this year, so she is keeping it bold, looking beautiful. And Amani is just saying to us that it's at this point in our lives, she's saying, find that you really should find yourself in your makeup. Be adventuresome. You are home. You have time to be daring and to explore a little bit. So why not try it out? And the other thing that Amani said that I thought was brilliant was she said, don't go out and spend a lot of money on makeup. Go to CVS or Walgreens and use the color palettes they find that you find there and the makeup you find there, and experiment and have fun. You're home anyway. And then when you get to go to a restaurant, blow it out and look great. Hey, have you guys found your mask style yet?
I have not. I wear a surgical mask and a black mask, but I am curious to see what Judith says about this, because she wrote a blog about wearing a mask. Judith, do you agree that masks are not going to go away?
I do not. I believe that masks are here to stay for a long time. And just as I collect scarves and hats, I have a mask collection. And I'm definitely going to check out the mask designer that you just presented. I think that it's really fun, and I think that it protects other people and it protects itself. And I think it's all about taking care of each other right now, and I see a mask as a symbol of that, and so I'm proud to wear a mask.
And Ari, as the arbiter of senior fashion, would you weigh in, please, on mask? And are they a fashion statement that's going to last?
Well, I think what's so incredible is a lot of designers right now and a lot of freelance designers don't have work. So a lot of them are turning, and a lot of creative people are turning to making really great masks and making a good living from that. And then also supporting different industries and donating to nursing homes and places. So like this whole thing with making masks is also creating a really strong community. And my friends who are artists have made me some fun masks. Yeah. And I think that men should not be afraid to wear a fun mask as well. Yeah, I mean, I think that we're going to be wearing masks for a while, and if you feel like it, why not make it fun? Our friend Deborah Rappaport in New York wears one with beaded fringe all down the mask.
I love it.
That's fun. If both of you, if you will, take a moment and give us a takeaway. I mean, a takeaway about life in general, about this period in your life, and Judith, ladies first. I mean, what's the takeaway from your story? What can we learn about, you overcoming losing your husband, you reinventing yourself from a psychiatric nurse, you doing you? I mean, what do you want people to know about success and happiness as they age?
I think that I feel more powerful now than I've ever felt in my life. And I feel that it's about embracing my age, embracing the changes that come with it. And I credit Ari with being one of the inspirations for me to launch Style Crone. And I feel that I want to continue to express myself, and I will continue to do so in this fashion with style until I wear my last hat. That's my plan.
And Ari, take it away, my friend.
Well, it's women like Judith and men who I photograph on my blog that are the inspiration to me. I've been hiking 5 miles a day because Judith does yoga every day. I want to be as strong and vital as she is. And so really it's about understanding that age does bring certain things that might affect your body and mind, but it also brings wonderful, positive things that affect your life, including a sense of freedom and increase creativity and curiosity. And I think that we have to realize that just because you're older doesn't mean that you think older. And so just be who you are and continue to be who you are. And whether that's with fashion or style or being with your grandchildren or reading a book, there's so many ways to find your purpose. I think in life, it's about finding your purpose. And we really appreciate you guys having us on today.
Amen. Well, thank you for that. And folks, these are two people that are that you can be inspired by, motivated by, and you really should be paying attention to. So let's show you how to do that. First of all, you can find Ari at advanced.style, and his Instagram is at advancedstyle. You will be grateful that you follow him because he is a constant source of inspiration. And the Style Crone, the one and only Judith Boyd, you can find her at Style Crone at Instagram, where she's one of the world's top influencers. And online, her blog, stylecrone.com, is a great read. And I think you now understand that it has far more to do than just about style. It's about advocacy. It's about lifelong learning. It's about living a big, bold life. So, thank you both for being so generous with your time and for all that you do. We've thoroughly enjoyed having you on the program.
Thank you. You've made our morning.
Well, thanks for getting up early. All right, we'll see you next time, Billy. Let's
everyone.
And what a tribe they've built, huh?
Yeah, that's the whole thing to me, Mark. It's that listening to them talk. It's not something that's about older people. It's not something that's about fashion people. It's using clothing in this example to bring people together of all ages, of all backgrounds, of all personalities. And it's a good example. I mean, if you're walking down the street dressed to the nines, but you're swimming in a sea of people that are wearing t-shirts, shorts, and flip-flops, you're going to feel like you're standing out and you don't quite fit in. But if you're around other people who are expressing themselves and their inner selves and their real personality through fashion, you're going to feel connected. You're going to feel like you belong. And that's what finding your tribe is all about. Well, it turns out that finding your tribe, whatever it is one of the best ways to live your best life. In fact, here's how one couple found theirs. Hey, I'm Bill Schaefer. Isn't it great when we can do the things we really want to do in life? Well, it's even greater when what we want to do makes a difference in the lives of others, because that's what we call finding your tribe. Rose and Bob Jordan join us to talk about how they took their love of bicycling and got even more out of it by helping others do it safely. Rose, hi, Bob. What was it that led you to become safety instructors?
Oh my gosh, that's a question we could answer over the next 2.5 hours. But the reality is that when we came to the villages, we had been cycling. We'd given up running long distances just because of our knees and our hips and so forth. So we were cycling, and we got involved with a group of tandem cyclists through our friends Gabe and Diana Merkin. And after that, we got involved with the recreation department when we decided that we thought, my gosh, shouldn't we be a bicycle-friendly community? Shouldn't the villages be classified as a bicycle-friendly community? And so we got together with a bunch of people and we started doing that. And through our creating connection with the recreation director, we became friendly, and he said, well, my gosh, we're doing this thing called the Enrichment Academy. Why don't you guys do a class on bicycle safety? Because we have so many older people here that it would be useful to have some refreshing instruction about them.
So really, the point, Bob, is, if I can jump in here, is that it really wasn't just on one fell swoop. It was one little step led to another and led to another that got you more and more involved. So tell us, who do you teach and what does it do for you?
Let me say this. We teach adults who are our age. We teach children. We teach community leaders. So the adults we teach through the Enrichment Academy. And the children, as you see in the photograph here, we teach over at schools. And we have a really good program with the Florida Department of Transportation and the University of Florida, where they give us helmets and also bicycles, I might add, that we can use in our instructions and that we can give to the children. So that's part of it. And that's, if we can teach a child to look left, look right, we might save 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 across a lifetime. And that's worth the effort that we're making.
Hey, Rose, how important was it for you to find something the two of you could do together?
Well, we have always worked as a team. We ran together up in Virginia, out of the Pentagon. And so it was a natural fit for us. And we bicycle together on the tandem. We also do singles, but it was important. But what I felt was important was I enjoy getting out in the air and feeling the beautiful breeze. And I knew other people did too. And they just needed a little bit of encouragement. And the children was very special because, as Bob was saying, we've heard back on stories where little guys and gals stopped at a stoplight instead of going out in front of a car. And that's really rewarding. And then also, I mean, just recently during this coronavirus, I mean, we had 20 some bikes that had been donated to us in our garage. And people came, and we fitted a helmet, and they rode off with joy. Yeah. And it was just absolutely awesome to see these people enjoy life and be able to do something in a confined environment like we're in right now.
Well, that leads us to a question here that hopefully will sum things up, guys. How has investing yourselves in the community impacted your lives and help you define what a life well lived is all about?
Well, I'll say this, that we don't have to look for things to do. Our lives are actually pretty busy. We're members of 2 bicycle clubs. We started the Bike Friendly Advocacy Committee, and so our lives are really quite busy and quite involved with fixing bikes, giving bikes away, teaching safety, and just having a really full life.
That's great. It's an inspiring conversation to have, because we all kind of think, well, gee, what would we do if we could do anything? Rose and Bob Jordan, thank you for your time. A couple who help encourage others to get out on bicycles and be safe doing it. That's where they found their tribe. Where will you find yours?
Thank you, Mr. Schaefer. I appreciate that. Let's begin to wrap this up, folks, and show you our meme stream for the day. It has to do with your tribe, with your friends. If your friends don't bring out the best in you, they are the wrong friends. And this becomes even more important as we get older, because you need to surround yourself with people who encourage you to be you. It's like Ari encouraged Judith to do what she really wanted to do. Negativity can keep us from pursuing our dreams. So if you don't have the right friends, then folks, you have got the wrong friends. And finally, what's on my mind today? What's on my mind today is what's been happening in Minneapolis for the last couple of days. And, folks, this program, this Growing Bolder platform, in general, are designed to celebrate the many great things about life. I quit a job as a local newscaster 14 years ago when I became disillusioned with what was happening in local newscast all over the world. They were becoming crime reports. They no longer were willing to invest the staff or the resources to do investigative journalism or to create upbeat features. It became a whole lot easier just to put up a mugshot and tell you, what happened overnight, what drug deals went bad, what armed robberies there were, how many home invasions there were. Our communities began to feel like a very dark and dangerous place. And I, naively, I guess, always believed that news should be as much about what goes right in a community as it is about what goes wrong. So when I realized that's no longer what local news was doing, I quit my job and I stopped paying attention to news. But that said, there are some times when we cannot look away, and unfortunately, this is one of those. And of course, we cannot jump to any conclusions. We have to let the criminal justice system do its thing. But there is no question. We have a problem in this country. We have a problem with police brutality and racial injustice. And yes, most police departments, most police officers are great people who are providing a valuable service. And we need them and we appreciate them and we honor them. But what happened to George Floyd in Minneapolis should infuriate, and it should crush every one of us. Again, we don't know all of the details yet, but there is no question that what we saw was a blatant case of police brutality. An unarmed black man handcuffed in the street, his arms behind his back, not resisting, allegedly wrote a bad check with a police officer, a white police officer, having his knee on his neck as George pleads for his life, saying, "I cannot breathe." And that officer sits there nonchalantly while three other officers stand by equally nonchalantly, as though he were writing a parking ticket. We cannot allow these things to continue. Floyd's death reminds us of other countless tragic, atrocious incidents, far too many to mention, but of course it brings back the case of Eric Gardner, who died in a very similar situation. He was suspected of illegal cigarette sales, and his final words were the same as George Floyd's: "I can't breathe." The Black community is rightly devastated and outraged. Whether we like it or not, whether we want to acknowledge it or not, we are now all members of the same community. So the question is, when will the rest of us, stop just nodding our heads in agreement? When will we do more than show a little bit of empathy? When will we do more than shed a single tear of concern? When will we step up and take a stand and begin to actually make a difference? Because when it comes to what's next, this is something that we all have a stake in. This is something that we all should be committed to changing. And with that, I apologize for getting on that rant today, but every now and then you got to pay attention to the news and you have to react. So that's mine, Bill and Laura. It was a great show. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think, Mark, in a way, what you said sort of fits into what Growing Bolder is all about. And rather than applying to groups of people, we're looking at you, everybody who's watching this right now. And we're saying, you've got the tools to live your best life. Do it. And the more people that are doing that, the more people that are making a difference in community and society. And the more we all find our tribe, and our tribe is us. We're all in the same one. So really, that's the message of Growing Bolder. What's next? That's why Mark and Laura and I are here every week. And that's what we want everybody to do. Be the best you can be and go out there and make a difference in society.
And I think it's be bold and it's be kind. And I think that's the message we're bringing each week.
Every week. We'll see you next week at 10 a.m. Eastern time right here on What's Next. Thanks, guys. I enjoyed it.
Thank you. Great show.
See ya.
Growing Bolder, what's next?